information on the cost of the party wagon that served as a security measure and advertisement costs had to be given to the mayor once that information was obtained. That information was relayed to the mayor on June 5th. He stated that he would give an update on the information presented. The mayor also specified that the organization could not benefit from being a beer vendor because he hadn't taken the necessary steps for the permit and that the time had expired to do so. On this day, I also met with the chief of police to discuss route, time, and how the police department would play an instrumental part in escorting the trail ride. On June 6th, I was informed that the mayor updated information stating that he did not have any more funds for this event, and going forward, any expenses would come from donations or sponsors. The uncertainty of having one of the security measures in place that we discussed was unknown, which is the point. At this point, I can honestly say that the thought of retracting my decision to organize the trail ride for this event was becoming more of a deciding factor. Yet, due to the fact our organization name was at stake, being that it was advertised on the city flyer for the event, other organizations had begun sharing the information and contacted me, committed to their participation. I myself had begun advertising, planning, and preparing as the organizer for this event. Therefore, I felt compelled to move forward. I was awaiting the liability waivers to ensure that all signatures of participants were recorded, but I hadn't received any communication from anyone as to when they would be available. I eventually would have to come to City Hall to get the liability waiver signing sheet 2 days before the event. This not being a normal practice for trail rides, as I explained, because they usually ride at their own risk, but I agreed to this task considering they would be given in a timely fashion, but they weren't. Nevertheless, the day of the event, I had to not only make sure that I organized the ride, lined up the horses, properly placing other participants in order, and not to mention get signatures on site. The ride was scheduled initially for 2:00 p.m. The signature process was delayed of the ride about 10 to 15 minutes. At the same time, we experienced a wave of strong winds and scattered rains. I was contacted by Officer Wisham, stating that they were delaying the ride until the rain passed over. During this time, the participants patiently waited. Due to the weather conditions clearing up and causing no threat to the participants, I proceeded to get everyone prepared to line up. The chief of police and I communicated about us being ready to line up, and he explained to me where he would be stationed. All participants were in place and lined up to ride. The chief then came back and approached me to inform me that the mayor had canceled the ride. Clueless to me and not communicated to me as to why was the ride being canceled had me baffled. I attempted to communicate with the mayor to explain to him from an organizational standpoint and an experienced trail ride organizer on the effects that having immediate cancellation without proper notification would have on Flame Game organization, the participants, and the reputation of the city. As trail riders, organizers, and association members, we take strongly into account the preparation it takes for these riders, the time involved in getting their horses prepared to ride, and the distance that they travel. All I simply asked the mayor was why. Immediately he disregarded me and told me to talk to him on a later date. I was completely left in shambles, having to inform the participants that the ride was canceled without an explanation besides the weather that was first reported that since had completely cleared and dried up. I contacted Councilwoman Lacy, who informed me that she did not have any clarity as to why the ride was canceled either. I told the Councilwoman at that time I needed to be compensated so I can in return compensate other organization members or participants that this inconsiderable decision could have inconvenienced. Since then, I have satisfied those that I just mentioned. Therefore, on behalf of Flame Game, I'm submitting an invoice of $1,000 for the month-long organizing, advertising, and in lieu of the amount of time wasted to make this event successful. I'm asking the council to consider my request based on this factual information that I have provided you with. Thanks for your time and consideration. Okay. The information in his letter that I can attest to, I did contact Ms. Rhonda. The mayor did discuss having a trail ride and having someone to organize the trail ride. The other person that they had in question about the trail ride had not been contacted, and I learned about her through social media, that she does trail rides and all of this. So I did contact her and asked her, would she be interested in organizing the trail ride for the city event. That really, at that point, there was no more information besides when the trail ride was supposed to be and the time. And we went forward with the meeting, and all the other information that is stated on this letter is pretty true about the meeting. I was there. It so happened at the time when they were lining up. So I did know that her and the chief had that conversation, but I never got any clarity either about it. So that's my place in it. And she did contact me about being compensated.
Well, that's the mayor right there, ask him. We can't
And
answer
I
because we don't
would
know.
agree that when you ask somebody to come on board to help you do organize, that we should, like, if it was a weather condition or whatever the condition was, from my understanding, more the communication went on with the police officers than the actual person that you brought on board to organize, who maybe could have given you some type of direction on how we go about moving forward with these events in the case of some type of weather condition or whatever. Maybe through their expertise, they could have talked about that and could have had some better communication. Because I know there was nothing that I could give because I didn't have anything besides the weather.
What I was hearing was about the weather and something about the waiver wasn't signed. That's what I gathered at that point in time. So I don't know what happened.
Okay, so whenever Officer Wisham actually approached me, me and her already had these discussions about the waivers. So if the communication was the way that it should have been, as far as with everyone who was actually in on organizing the event, everyone will possibly know that I actually had to come here to get the waivers myself, and I actually do have waivers filled out. I actually went into Rose's office and I got the 5 copies from you, correct? So had everyone been on the same page and the communication wasn't so poor, you know, somebody probably would have known that I actually have waivers from Port Allen City from Rose Roche in reference to them actually being able to trail ride. I then received a text message from Officer Wisham stating that the mayor is refusing to allow officers to come. And I'm like, okay, so why is that? She then replied at 4:28 to say that the mayor is saying the city is not responsible and not a part of the trail ride. How, I'm not sure, but for some reason, how could they not be a part of the trail ride if this is the flyer that they created with my brother logo at the bottom of it if they are not a part of it? How was the flyer even created and the mayor actually agreed to this if the city of Port Allen wasn't a part of the trail ride? How wasn't they?
So the information has been presented at the council likes. We can take a look at it and look at whatever contracts were entered into.
What are you asking to be compensated for?
My time.
Your time?
Yeah, me advertising, me putting together things. The time that I came down here, the time that I spoke with you guys, the gas that I've wasted, passing out flyers that I made on my own. Because the city didn't have any more funds in their budget to be able to pay $167 for advertisement, for flyers.
Mayor, would you like to answer?
No, ma'am. My stand right now is that the parade was canceled due to the weather. There's no contract, no cost that related to this company that we're supposed to pay them. And if she wants to file a suit or whatever against the city, then she can do that, and let her report.
And it didn't seem like she's gonna file a suit.
Well, I don't know if it'll be paid,
And then the lawsuit is what this organization will have to go through to get.
Not necessarily, no, I mean, they've made a claim, the claim has been presented to the mayor and the council, so the council mayor decide, what they wanna do on it. I mean, you can settle a claim outside of a lawsuit. Again, if it's something you want us to look at, we can look at it, because
Yeah, because all the other things get paid for, water slides and bull rides and all that.
That was in the budget.
Contracts and invoices.
Yeah, but when I did actually speak to them about it, obviously it wasn't a contract put in, but to put someone's logo on a flyer, obviously it was contracted then, correct? Like you're basically taking his logo, using it on your flyer without his consent.
And can you all vote to give her money?
No, there's no voting tonight.
No.
They can make it an agenda item for next week, but that's the committee's decision.
Yeah, because I think back in Juneteenth was really nice, but the majority of the people came from that young lady's trail ride that was supposed to happen. Everybody that was back there on those horses and cowboys and that, most of them was from this young lady from Texas and everywhere. You had people saying it was from Texas for the trail ride. And I just don't think that's fair. You had the water slide, you had the lemonade stand, you had different, she should be compensated something. What? I don't know. Y'all should come to some agreement. That's just the community's opinion. I mean, it's just not right.
I went out and got a donation, if it matters, to try and help go towards this, because I actually bought the party wagon, because it was a security feature, he said. So I understood that since the city didn't have any more money in the budget, I actually purchased that party wagon that you said you needed. So
You purchased through donation or through your personal fund?
my own money, but
Okay.
then I got a donation that wouldn't have even covered it.
So you want your money back too?
I mean, I hadn't even asked for my money back, but I do have an invoice for the purchasing of that 40 wagon. But I wasn't asking for it. I give it to her. It was a donation for the trail ride. What it was about was 500, which one, what it was? For the guy who came with the donation was
Well,
the
I didn't have to check, but I know it was wrong.
Okay, what kind of tree is it?
503, one of the two.
You say
He brought it up
$500
here,
for a
because he was on the
party
phone
wagon?
when he told me he brought it up, so he brought it up here. But let's not get clueless about it. I'm just asking, how much was it?
We'll have to look at the check.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Nobody looked at
We
the
don't
check?
have that number right now.
Nobody looked at the check from the time that it came to the sale?
I'm not gonna give you a number that might be different later on, so when I'm looking at the check, I can tell you what you want.
paid for anyway. Now, if there was supposed to be pay services and it gets canceled, then, okay, what was the payment for the services? But that's all the information we have to find out about. Having it.
Okay, just make it an agenda item for next week? Okay.
Can we get copies of things so we can look at? Because I know I'll sit on some of the meetings, but not all of them. And Hugh and Gary, they don't have anything.
Copy of the letter?
Yeah, something to show what we need to vote for.
Just give it to the staff. The staff will,
Distribute.
they can send me a copy. Can send me a copy.
I will say this. As a city government government, if we want to get our community involved in events, I mean, that's something that we want to do. And you have a lot of people who don't want to be involved with the city for reasons as such. Like if they always saying, oh, I don't want to get involved in the city, it's too much of this. So when you go out there and try and get people involved, we want to just make sure we keep good, good relationship, keep good business. Because people don't really want to deal with government, politics, and none of that. Because it's always something that they feel like gonna be conflictual. And I don't like to have the city with that stamp, is what I'm saying.
I think we already got that stamp, so
No, I mean, I think we do good business. I never heard,
I have.
I think we do good business with people. Everybody never heard anybody complain about, I guess, too much. If they do, gotta bring it to the council. I haven't. Anyway, item number 6, update on community development activities.
And a big thing that's going on this week is our 4th of July celebration. And I think the mayor is sending updates they can give to you. Very exciting that we're gonna have a great day tomorrow. If any of you've seen the television with Anatole, and then I think the mayor and the parish president did an interview, so the word for Port Allen is out. I think we'll have a lot of visitors come tomorrow. I don't know if that's good or bad. With any other courses, I probably would have to refer to any other duty. The events, my understanding, start around 4 o'clock. And it'll culminate after the powers. All right.
What kind of flower? You know?
9.
You have a flyer?
No.
It's on Facebook. I don't have a part of that. I can get you.
Item number 7, adjourned.
Call the Personnel Committee to order to establish a quorum. Could we have a roll call, please? Here.
Here.
Here. Item number 4, discuss step increases due to completion of probationary period or obtaining certification for the following employees. Mayor?
Good evening, Council. These employees completed their 6 months probation and new hirees. Kyle Moore, Labor 1, Roads and Drainage. He's at 101C, he'll be moving to 101D. Michael Tuyay, the mechanic, fleet maintenance. He's at 112H, he'll move to 112I. Kendrick Knighton, a gas operator trainee in water and gas. He'll be moving from 109B to 109C. And Jerry Thomas Jr., a labor 2, roads and drainage employee, and he will be moving from 108A to 108B. And like I said, all these employees have completed their 6 months probationary period and been approved by their supervisors. Step increase. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And
Put that on as an agenda item, please, for next week. And item number 5, discuss Chief Hicks' recommendation of the following promotions. Chief, you want to read those?
Okay, got Corporal Kenny Parker. I want to promote him to Sergeant at 114-8. And I also have Officer Stephen Bell to Corporal at 113-8. Officer Stephen Bell been with me right at a year. He's been filling in as A-shift supervisor for the last 4 to 5 months. And he has done an outstanding job. He does what he's supposed to do, have his reports and stuff ready, and does what his supervisor asks him. Same thing with Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker been with me since 2020. He just made his 4 years. He's getting close, if not he has made it. And like I said, since he's been here, he's been done an outstanding job.
what was Corporal before 113.8 with his pay rate went up too?
Yeah, with the new pay scale that came out in my department.
Those are the new pay rates that were indicated. That's what they're going to.
Bill, yeah, he was going to.
Any more questions? Okay, make that a agenda item for next week.
Thank you.
Item number 6, discuss employee appeal of disciplinary action.
The council, this is an appeal by a city employee of disciplinary action to the personnel committee via the city's personnel handbook, disciplinary actions implemented by the mayor or appealable to the personnel committee. Depending on what the personnel committee does, and the classification of employee, it then goes back to the mayor for final determination. Yeah, well, Mr. Guidry, and I want to put this on the record because this has come up in a very short time period. Mr. Guidry, by law, if the city's going to go into executive session to discuss you in a personnel matter, they're required to give you written notice at least 24 hours before that meeting, which I don't believe was done in this case. But in any event, you can waive that if you wish. And regardless, it's your choice on whether we go into executive session or not.
That's fine.
You want to go into executive session? Okay. So then, personnel committee will need a motion to go into executive session.
Second it.
On that,
Yeah.
ma'am, you lost. Okay, Ms. Hubble,
Yes.
Ms. Gordon,
Yes.
Ms. Riviere. Motion carried.
Yes, all the time, but they didn't have a permit either.
You know what?
They didn't have one either.
Make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
All right, motion by Mr. Riviere, second by Ms. Gordon, Mr. Hubble. Yes?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon,
Yes.
Mr. Riviere.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Put us back on the record, Mr. Toby.
We're back.
Right. It is a recommendation of the Personnel Committee that the disciplinary action stands.
That would be a motion. That's the motion.
That's the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion by Mr. Hubble and a second by Mr. Riviere. Mr. Hubble,
Yes.
Ms. Gordon,
Yes.
Mr. Riviere.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. That's it. That's it. Item number 7, adjourn.
Okay, Finance Committee. Item number 1, call to order. Item number 2, establish a quorum. Item number 3, roll call.
Ms. Lacy,
Present.
Mr. Hubble,
Here.
Mr. Brown.
Out to 95-10. Mr. Aaron,
Yeah, that's good. Mr. Landry's off. But, the weather machine that the city currently has is outdated and old and, it's not working anymore, so we need to purchase a new, weather machine. We got a quote from, Baton Rouge Welding Supply for $6,986.95. Any questions?
No, sir.
we're making an agenda item for next week. Item number 4, adjourn. Mayor.
Just make it short and sweet. Everybody who having short check disadvantage about the 4th of July celebration. Arnett tradition will be playing at the latter part of the evening, starting at, I think, 4 o'clock. Well, rockin' more that School of Music gonna be playing first, and then
Who? Who you say?
rock music
Oh,
school right
the
there on
music-
4th
oh,
Street.
okay.
They're gonna be playing first, and then Arnett tradition coming on afterwards. Fireworks start at 9 p.m. Lasts about 20 minutes, and they will have kids zones right at the base of the levee, water slides, inflatables, kid shows throughout the day, and that starts at 5 o'clock. And I just want everybody to have a good time.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Adjourn.